Welcome to the new version of Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and together with Bjorn, we're going to talk about everything real estate. We talk about what's working, what's not working, what's new, what's old, technology, and anything else to do with real estate. We'll answer your questions from the Facebook group Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you have a question, we can help. Join the Facebook group today. And again, welcome to the show. Okay, welcome guys. Today we have Chris Jansen, we have Bjorn, and we have Mike Lowrie from EXP. And we have our 3 icon agents from South Australia, our first team to have 3 icons. Welcome everyone.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, so I want to talk about your stories and how EXP has influenced your life and what you've done since being in EXP. So first of all, I think we'll go to Mike. What has happened since you've joined EXP?
Yeah, so look, it's been a really good 12 months. Zero complaints from me, absolutely. So, I look back from where I was 12 months ago. I was in an office where I was not motivated to go there. I wasn't working, to probably the best of my ability, but still probably having to work long hours. And fast forward 12 months, the short end of that story is now probably working, I'd say, less hours. Definitely, I've taken up study as well, but ultimately, this system has allowed me to double my income in that 12 months. So, I look back at it and go, wow, I don't know how I've done it, but yeah, it's sort of felt a lot easier. I'm motivated each day and I enjoy coming in. So
not only studying a degree.
Yeah, I'm studying a Bachelor of Business as well, which is full-time at uni. So I dedicate 1 day a week to going into classes, and normally 4 classes back to back on, say, I think last semester it was Thursday. So, it's become some long late nights as well with study, but, that's the beauty of this EXP model is I can work from home and very quickly switch from real estate mode. And when I haven't got anything specific on, bang, straight into study as well. So, it's been good.
So studying full time, earn double and have more time off, basically.
Yeah, I guess, when you put it that way.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thing that you've got going there, I think. Yeah. So Chris, what's your story been in EXP?
Well, look, obviously lifestyle has changed drastically. I've just found a huge passion now in hearing stories like Mike's below, where a lot of agents we talk to come from a traditional model where it's all a set pace. It's all flat out, this many calls, this much commission, this much everything, and there's no way an agent can actually pivot and adapt. And one of the greatest things I've really enjoyed about EXP, it doesn't matter whether you write $1 million or you only want to do, $200,000 gross commission as such. This model is really tailored to your pace. It's about you as the agent, and it's not one size fits all. And where I'm getting a lot of enjoyment now is obviously my listing and selling business is taking care of itself and being powered with EXP. I've got more time back. I'm more nimble and robust with my costs. Therefore, my bottom line is much more effective in terms of net life. But I'm now sort of getting to a stage and a level where I'm trying to help other agents, just like as Mike. You don't have to be the $1 million superstar. If you want to do a degree or you want to have a bit more lifestyle balance, but you still need real estate as the vehicle to fund your life.
Good point.
Helping agents just understand there's options out of just one way. There's multiple ways that we can tailor EXP to suit you depending on where you're at, what stage in life. Now, we've got agents that have got 10 years to retirement, and we're helping them achieve shares through EXP as towards their superannuation vehicle. Like superannuation, it's another vehicle towards retirement. Building rent roll assets. Agents have never had the opportunity to build their own rent roll apart from just giving it pretty much the asset to their principal and business owner. So that's what I'm really enjoying, Lisa, is helping agents create additional income streams and wealth positions just outside of listing and selling, and just helping them open their eyes. And this is really going to change the industry in favor of the agents, and it's overdue and we need it.
Yeah, I think, we get the opportunity to help agents be entrepreneurial, and you guys are guiding people and guiding agents into, not only listing and selling and their performance in listing and selling, but also creating the business and extra multiple streams of income with the shares and everything else that they're actually learning business and learning how to be an entrepreneur at the same time.
100%. Like when I sat in on the shareholders summit, Bjorn, you would relate to this. Like some of the information they gave about wealth creation outside of just gross commission and listing and selling transactions, we were able to be super privileged to sit in those seminars, those shareholder summit seminars, and just listen to people who are, seven figures rich.
Yes.
That's invaluable. That's invaluable experience, and they're part of the EXP model. They're in it. They're doing it.
Changing agents' lives, definitely. And it's in 5 years' time when they look back and go, wow, look at what we've accomplished, and not only listing and selling, but everything else that's in their portfolio. That's when it's really going to make a difference.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting, like hearing Mike's story. You'd be surprised how many agents are doing that every day, walking into the office not wanting to be there. But it's just like that hamster in the wheel. They're stuck, they're trapped, they're not aware of options and alternative ways to do business. And this is the way of the future. Agents can bolt in, run their own business, make it their own brand, at a very affordable, cost. A lot less than what it costs to be a business owner. And I know that for a fact.
But like Mike is doing the degree, there's going to be people that have got other interests, or they've got their children. They want to spend more time with their children, like we do. There's different things that you supplement into what Mike has supplemented the degree into. I've got my son, so for me it's spending a lot more time with my son, and you guys are the same with your children. So okay, Bjorn, so what's your story?
Just on Mike's story, it blows my mind. So the guy's created a six-figure income, okay? Because I know he doesn't like me talking about this stuff. Because
he looks shy, doesn't he?
He's a very, very humble guy. But he's gone from working full-time. I mean, I've known Mike because Chris and Mike used to work in the same office. But Mike and I became friends after Mike bought a house with me a few years ago, and we started playing indoor cricket together. And I knew Mike. He's very, very structured, very organised guy. And, I just knew that there was something, whenever he'd come to cricket, there's something that he just wasn't happy where he was. And it was nothing to do with Chris. It was just to do with the systems of the way that traditional establishment, as we call it, is just set up, that you just sort of feel like you're limited and you're trapped and you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I've just watched Mike go from, he's not stressed anymore. He doesn't have any anxiety of any kind. He's happier. He's always joking around. He's always having fun. He's studying full time. So he's a degree in business is a pretty full-on thing to take on.
It's not an easy thing. Yeah.
So he should really be more stressed out, and he should really feel more anxious and more pressured. But the guy's just a relaxed superstar, and he's doubled his income to a six-figure income, working part-time, going from full-time at an establishment. And that just goes to prove what can be done with the freedom of this model, because you can work where you want to work, when you want to work. So, and reaching the Icon Award, we will get $17,500 worth of shares, and then we give back and train to other agents, get another $7,500 of shares. And then it opens up, if we attend some shareholder summits, like Chris was mentioning, that we get $2,500 per share that we attend, in order to retain that which we can sell whenever we like. So basically the 12 months journey for myself has seen me pretty much get back almost every single dollar that I've put into EXP. The $32,640 a year that it costs for us to be in EXP. I've got a share portfolio in Australian dollars that's topping over that $32,000 mark. So I'm basically in this model for free. And I've gone from 437k GCI in my first 12 months to now 478 GCI first 12 months at EXP. And it's like Chris says, it doesn't matter how much you want to do or how little you want to do. The main thing for me, I get to see my kids. I've got 2 kids out there. I get to see them every single day. Yesterday, South Australia was announced that we're going into another lockdown. So what? Big deal. I did 2 contracts digitally and a sales agency agreement digitally, because that's the tech platform that we've got. So it's changed my life. I used to be highly strung and very, very anxious. And now I'm just a different person. I'm just relaxed and chilled out and earning more money than I've ever earned. Added 88% more income to my bottom line for my family. Now, when that happens, you can just relax. So very proud of the team in SA, and these two blokes here, the three of us started this together, and we bonded and we backed each other very hard in that first 12 months and supported each other. And I think it's great accomplishments that Chris, Mike, and myself have all achieved icon status within that first 12 months. Every single member of the team has reached it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think if oh, sorry, Chris, do you want to say?
I want to ask Mike a question for those that might be watching this that are in the traditional establishment environment. Mike, thinking back to former life, where you came from, what made you join that business at that time? What was the main reason?
Yeah, look, funny enough, it was where I was I didn't feel fit me as a culture. It was, the perceived, I guess, energy and success in that office. I looked over and said, yeah, okay, these guys are successful. I want to know what they're doing. But, it turns out it turned out to be a very, front-loaded sort of, I guess, image of success. So when you got inside that business, it was probably more top-heavy and a little bit sort of, sounded welcoming at first, sure, no dramas. And there was, some members of the office with great energy, but very quickly it turned out to be, after a little bit, it was just probably like every other office, you're sort of left there, okay, your desk is that end there, go sit next to the toilets where your desk is and write your KPIs on the board. And then there wasn't much more follow through from some of the management in terms of how can we help you grow. It was just, are you growing? And then when you didn't, it was, oh, well. And, and then when you didn't do things that sort of sat with the status quo of what was perceived to be the right way to do real estate, it was frowned upon or sort of met with sort of disdain, I guess. So yeah, joining that office, it was initially I was very, very premature in the industry. I came straight in as a sales agent. I hadn't had the traditional 3 years as a sales associate to get used to the setup. So I was sort of sink or swim at that time. But yeah, I'm not sure I've sort of answered the question. Sorry, mate.
No, you hit the nail on the head, because it's really funny talking to a lot of agents like yourself. There's one thing that generally attracts them to an office. Well, there's a number of things, but I'm finding there's really a few common things. Number one is the perception of success lures them to that office. But that perception of success didn't suit you, because that wasn't Mike. It wasn't the way Mike wanted to run his business. Or do you know what I mean? It's kind of, we paint everyone with the same brush. And talking to a lot of agents in our industry, it's either, well, they're successful, so if I attach myself to that, hopefully a bit of that will rub off onto me. And what we find is, for the new bloomers into the industry, it works for a certain period of time, but after a while it becomes a fad, because people start going, like yourself, this isn't actually how I want to run my business. I don't want to have to be forced to come in this day, this time, every day, making this amount of calls and writing up all my numbers on the board. I just want to run my own way, my own style. Or it could be the retainer. That's another common thing. People are trapped by the handcuff of the retainer. But yeah, it's interesting, Mike. The perception of success isn't always the reality when you get into the beehive or the hornet's nest, as they say. Because one person's success isn't your success. Well, that's EXP is about your success.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on. I do remember probably one of the first 2 weeks I was there, we had a training session, and that was literally the question, what do you want to get out of real estate? And they literally went around the room, and every answer was, I want to write 200, I want to write 300, I want to write 500, whatever that number was. It wasn't how much do you want to write, it was what do you want to get out of real estate? Or what's successful for you?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, look, I don't have a number. They're like, well, you need to have a number. You got to have a goal to aim for. And I said, yeah, but that's just a number. Like, what makes me successful if I have this much income, or what makes, I come from a military background where everything was do this, do that, for me, successful was, a comfortable lifestyle where I'm free to make my own decisions. And like you said, run the business how I wanted to, especially when, I'm not receiving a retainer a retainer, I shouldn't be really dictated too much on how I need to earn my money. So, I was sort of the black sheep for a little while. I said, well, a number isn't success for me. It's how I feel about coming to work and the lifestyle that I live. So, it definitely didn't sit well with a lot of people in that office, that's for sure.
You've just hit the nail on the head, Mike. The nail on the head. Success. The problem with this world is this world thinks and talks in money, right? Everything's about money, right? Even you go to the vet, you take your animal to the vet anymore. It's not about the animal anymore. It's about the money. It's about selling you a surgery and saying it's rubbish. Everything's money based. But success, I feel, and Mike's just hit the nail on the head, isn't about money. Because I know people that have got loads of money and they are miserable people. They don't have families. They don't have friends. They don't have partners. They are just miserable workaholic people. Now, what Mike said is success, I think, is well-rounded. It's having a good family life balance. It's having great partnerships, having good friendships. It's having free time to be able to do the things you want to do. Like Chris and I enjoy camping and boating. Mike's got his other hobbies that he loves, golfing and things like that. And success, I think, is being able to do all the things that you want to do and being able to have a lifestyle that you choose by your design. Not necessarily just talking about I'm successful because I've got $1 million in the bank. And I think Mike's just hit the nail on the head. But Mike, about support, because you've obviously come from the traditional establishment, and there's a big myth around lack of support with EXP. How would you find the difference in support from being at a traditional establishment versus the EXP cloud-based support network? How would you find the differences there?
He's smirking here, and I think there's going to be a real honest answer to this one. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I love about Mike. He's honest. He's straight up. What you straight up. Getting this guy. Tell us, Mike. Tell us as it is.
Yeah, look, obviously every office is going to be different. They're going to have their own setup, so I can't speak for every single setup, but I can't imagine they're too dissimilar, you know. First and foremost, from an office perspective, every admin staff is just an overhead. So, you know, I have no doubt every business owner is looking to reduce those overheads as best they can. So most likely the traditional model is running a base amount of admin staff on a higher amount of work rate, you know. So what I found from where I was, the staff were there, but it was probably one staff member wearing at least 2 hats, if not 3. And then effectively it was, I'll get to it, you know. And it's not even but the admin staff are there in person because like every person in real estate, regardless of your role, you ask them to do something and they ask you to send them an email. So they've got it in writing and they don't forget. But, you know, they get 40 emails a day and you're now number 40 at the bottom. And, you know, that contract processing that needed to happen, which I could have done by a click of a button, but because of the office admin rules where I was, I'm not allowed to, you know, convert it to a listing to continue the process of getting this listing online. And, you know, 24 or 48 hours later, it finally happens, maybe after 2 emails. Whereas with EXP, funnily enough, you still have to send an email because, you know, because of the cloud-based setup. So that hasn't changed. But what I found is EXP have structured, every single person has their job role, and that's their job role. There's no, I'm this, this, and this. So when I need a contract, you know, sent through or a listing sent through and approved to go live, you know, I've been waking up to emails at 6:30 in the morning that obviously the admin staff there are up early and, you know, with a different time zone for us, they got a half an hour head start on the day. I don't think I've ever waited longer than an hour for anything to be responded to in what I've asked for. So short and sharp, from what I went from to what I've gone through is leaps and bounds ahead of and faster. And
that's awesome.
Agents might be watching this and thinking, okay, well, you guys have got a little team together. So you guys, the 3 of you support each other. And that's why, you know, it's worked out well for you because it's just the 3 of you supporting each other. And we are all good friends and we do back each other in. But I think what's important and what Mike just mentioned about is that there is a head office with a number of dedicated staff which take care of everything for us. Yeah. And just like Mike said, because the office that I came from was an independent, so it's very different to a big establishment that these guys are from. But I had the same things, Mike. You know, it used to take, you know, I had a personal assistant and it would take her sometimes, you know, 4 or 5 hours to do something which I can now do in 5 minutes from the comfort of my own home at 11:30 at night with a beer in hand if I need to.
Yeah, I really liked what you said, Mike, how the traditional offices, a lot of the time it's are you growing, not how can I help you grow. That was really, I think that's a really you know, a very real scenario of what happens out there.
Yeah, and Chris mentioned it before. I think towards the end before I left, it was that their process of helping you grow was more just, we'll be accountable, so write your KPIs on the board. But like, why do I need to tell anyone else what my KPIs are? You know, like it's something I've had agreed when I signed up. You know, yeah, these are my KPIs, and same thing. Like if you're not on a retainer and you're the only one, you know, bringing in your business and all, and it gets tiresome. And that's the thing. Like when we started chatting before about lifestyle and being happy, it's just a flow-on effect. Like you're getting told by someone to do what they think is right, but they're not supporting you to do it, or financially, definitely. And then you drop off 50% of that wage on the front door on your way out. It's hard to keep going with them. Give you that.
It's so relatable because I used to coach and train and mentor that, and now I look back and I think that was so reverse engineered. Like it was the wrong way. It was more, this is how we do it. You have to conform. You have to do it this way. And if you just follow the bouncing ball, well, success should follow. Whereas now at EXP, I don't say we do anything our way. We've got some stuff we do. You can bolt on, you can take out, but let's talk about you. Like, what do you want to achieve? Oh, Mike, you want to study uni? Well, for $220 a month, EXP might be the best model for you to continue study, but yet keep your business doors open.
Yeah.
You know, there's other guys we're talking to who it's about intellectual property. They don't want to put their intellectual property into someone else's system that they'll never own any longer. For other guys and girls we talk to, it's about them, their name, their branding. That's what they're passionate about. So how do we propel that and put that up in the lights versus it just being about an individual brand and nothing to do with their name? So that's been a wonderful learning for me, Lisa, and super empowering for me is to start talking to people about what's important to you, not to that business or to that office.
I think we are very tailor-made. There's no set commissions. There's no set this. There's no set that. You know, your marketing, it's very flexible. You really run your own business. You do your own thing. You can do things like Mike's done.
You know what's amazing, Lisa, is that Chris, Mike, and myself, we're all get along really well. Like we're all true, genuine mates.
And you're all so different.
Right? But we are so different.
You are.
Like I wing it and just fly by and get things done when they need to get done and just write a to-do list every morning and that's it. Chris is very structured with his systems and he's very analytical and very logical about things. I'm more of an emotional person. And Mike's ex-military. So Mike's like, he just knows how to get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
And he's sort of got a combination of, he's very, very structured, very organized. Words don't come out of Mike's mouth unless they mean something. Words come out of my mouth all the time. Chris is very structured. So we're all very, very different, but we've all achieved success and we've all increased our incomes within our first 12 months. But the one thing that we do have in common is we all said when we set out on this journey, if this is great, we're going to let the world know about it. But if this is really bad, we're going to make sure no one else falls into this trap either. And we could be the best ambassadors for EXP because now living at 12 months in, knowing that everything that we researched online, everything that was pitched to us by people like Glenn Twiddle and whatnot that we're involved with, everything that was relayed, like you're going to get this, and this, we sort of got together and thought, let's just say that we get half of that, guys, because it's just, you know, they want to get us to join, but it's been more than what we've had pitched to us. Has been the reality of it. And to have 3 different individuals with 3 different selling styles, with 3 different techniques, with 3 different listing
personalities,
with 3 different ways of approaching clients, and all 3 of us to have reached that icon award status, and all of us to have increased, doubled his income, 88% up. I'm not too sure exactly what Chris's numbers are, but I know he's up massively too. For all of us to be 12 months later, brand new business, brand new brand, introducing to South Australia, and to be living this success, I honestly thought that if I could do half of what I did previously and earn half of what I did previously, that I was on the right path to success with EXP. And it's done a lot more than that. So we're here to let people know that whether you're a Mike and you want to study and you want to better your education and do things in your own pace at your own time and take this as a part-time role, you can have a six-figure income. Whether you're like Chris and myself, where we just like, bang, 100% focused on real estate, but we like to have a lifestyle, you can do that too. So it's really the freedom and flexibility that you don't normally have with a traditional setup. And I think it's brilliant. I've loved every moment of it, and I love being associated with these guys. So
and I think you guys have been our model for our teams as well. So you guys have done it. Anybody can do it where they are in Australia or anywhere around the world. And also too, if anybody is interested in joining XP, then reach out to Chris or Bjorn or Mike, and we can help you get through everything. So yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to add that this is a real personable system. We talked about money and everything being money before. And I think the reason why when you're at a traditional establishment, while you have those KPIs that Mike was talking about and those things that you want to write up on the board, is because the boss is only concerned about how much your money you're making for them. They'll smile to your face and they're like, hey, how you going, Mike? And let's go out for lunch and let's do this. And all they care about is how much money you're bringing in for them. Because if you're bringing in 200K GCI, they're getting 100K minus expensive. You're bringing in 300, they're getting 150. You're bringing in 500, they're getting 250. So they just want to care about their pockets, and they've got big overheads to keep the office and things running. With EXP, the thing that I've found, it is extremely personable, extremely personable. So for us as individual agents, but also the way that our clients interact with us, our clients feel like that we're not really a real estate agent and a client relationship. They feel like more like it's a joint partnership that's getting a result. And we can be a lot more personable and spend a lot more time with people because we eat the chunk of the pie, because there is no 50% to give away because we're on a 100% commission model. So I found it's really, really, really personable with my family, with my relationships with other people, with the relationships with these guys. With relationships with customers, I've just found that it's gone away from being money centric to being people centric, and that's what I love the most.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Lisa. Just a couple of things. Like, I guess probably most people that watch this or whatever are probably more likely to be in probably my position in terms of probably gross income or sales per year than say someone like Chris or Bjorn. From what I found, that used to be one of the biggest problems I'd have is as a solo agent, you go out there and obviously normally one or two other agents, and normally one or two of those other agents is a business owner that you're up against. So what typically I was finding in my area was I'd lose to business owners around costs as well, because that's the first thing they do when they find out, okay, if they're not getting the listing straight away, generally a business owner will go, right, I'll just drop the pants out of the costs here for the vendor and secure the business that way. So I remember losing a listing to a business owner who charged, I think, 2.2% on a $200,000 home, right? So he's going to pick up the $4,000 for the sale. He's going to get his sales associate to do all the work, and he does nothing. $4,000 comes in. I look at that. I would have probably taken home a bit over $1,000 after all my commission splits. What the XP model does is change that scenario, right? So when I now go out there, if I'm on 100% commission, I'm now in the same position as that business owner, where I can take all those, I can not worry about that. EXP have reduced their costs on marketing as well. So now I'm effectively a business owner in that circumstance where I can compete a lot more competitively on fees. I don't have to, if I don't want to, drop it right down, but I know that, if I need to, and I can. So I've had a couple of those last year where, all right, it wasn't probably the high end fee. My average comm sits around about 10,500, but if need be, I could drop it down to 6. And that got me the business on one occasion because the lady was just purely on a budget. She just couldn't have, she said, I just not trying to be tired. I just need to have my commission low because otherwise I can't afford it. So I get that business based off that, and then that turns into referral business down the track. So I think one real powerful part of this model is you can now compete with those, business owners or lower commission agents and grow your business that way. So I think that's one thing that a lot of people, probably my position, would have struggled in under that traditional model, dropping 50% off your commission at the door. You don't have anymore. And
your boss wouldn't have let you do that working for the traditional office. So now you've got the flexibility to do what you need to do.
Well, that's right. It's each to their own on that one, I guess. But yeah, it's just, you're not out there number crunching in your head. If I have to do it for this much, what do I get? How much am I taking home? So, it works out a lot better.
It's funny you say that, Mike, because looking at numbers, there's 2 listings that I've lost in the 12 months that I've been with EXP, and they were to other business owners. Okay, and both of them were because they offered an auction proposition, which I didn't offer, right? But thinking about that now, 2 of the guys that are about to join us actually said, one of the guys that we work for in our office, who's an absolute superstar within this particular franchise organization, never loses listings. He never loses listings, but he used to lose listings to you, Bjorn, all the time. Now, it wasn't because I was dropping my pants and doing things really cheaply, but it's just because I went around things a different way with the EXP way, which I'm not going to talk about here. Mike knows what it is. Chris knows what it is. They know how it works. They know how it gives an advantage. But if somebody's with us, I'll let them know how to do it as well. But I find that losing listings is just a thing that doesn't exist anymore. It's basically obsolete with the EXP proposition. And that's to do with like what Mike touched on with our marketing and whatnot. So it's a very powerful point that Mike just made. It's extremely powerful. We are our own business owner. I was in a position where my auntie had to sell a house, and EXP let me sell her house for $0 commission because she was my auntie, and it was a little house in Marion Bay, and it was only worth $200,000. And a $5,000 or $10,000 coming out of that's a big chunk. And I wanted to help my auntie, and they said, "She's family, Bjorn. You do whatever you want to do." Yeah. And I was able to do that for her, and that's very powerful, I think.
There you go, because I did a commission for a friend for free, and ended up in court with my ex-principal because he withheld money from another sale because he just felt like, nah, I'm keeping money for it. So there's the difference, isn't it?
There you go. We own our data. We keep our data. EXP says you just do the right thing by people. As long as you're ethical and working with good morals, you're fine, right? You can do whatever you want to do as long as you stick within our guidelines. Yeah. And the freedom of that. And there's Mike with the traditional establishment ending up in court for trying to do the same thing for somebody that he cares about. It's chalk and cheese, guys. It's black and white. It really is. There's no comparison. There really isn't.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Chris has got to race off and do some icon training for all of our agents in about 15 minutes. So again, anybody that is interested in joining EXP, reach out to Chris, Bjorn, or Mike. And we'd love to have all of you with us.
Let's talk about your why.
All right.
Come on board, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks,
guys. Have a good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in EXP, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for EXP Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.